Today is about celebrating, and if you are not celebrating, I guarantee that it is absolutely in the way of you getting the results that you have been wanted. And I don't care if it's in your personal life, if it's in your work life, it's in your health and your wellness. Celebrating is essential to you getting to where you want to go, and that's why we are talking about this today. Hello and welcome to Say Yes to You and Why You Don't. For women who are great at saying yes to others, not always as great at saying yes to themselves. I am Claudia Braun. I'm a mindset, lifestyle coach, EFT practitioner for women who are ready to start stepping up and saying yes to themselves. So I want to talk about celebrating for a couple reasons, because I was thinking about how I'm celebrating. This is my 52nd episode of Say Yes to You, and I am celebrating 1 year of this podcast, of your listening, of my showing up, of this co-creation. And I was thinking about the power of celebrating and what our mind does to us and how it stops us from wanting to celebrate for a number of reasons. And that's what we're going to talk about. And as here we are coming to the end of January, the first month of the year, and we were talking earlier in the month about setting goals and connecting to your goals. And, you know, if you're kind of off track already with maybe intentions that you had, goals that you had, this is going to help you so much, because I find it's one of the things that my clients have some of the biggest resistance to. And as we continue to dive into this, you're going to understand more so about yourself, where your own mind kind of trips you up, and where you're hitting minefields of it stopping you from allowing you to fully embrace this very important aspect of your own success. And today's download is about you accessing your mind's land field. If you have not taken this quick quiz that I offer, it's a way to kind of understand where your mind is tripping you up, because, you know, that mind, it's such a trickster. It can totally get in your own way, because think about it. You live with your mind 24/7. So many blind spots, because you're used to doing things same old, and until you get a new piece of information that you can kind of step back from and really see it laid out, it's very important, very powerful. I know that my clients and other people that I've given this quiz to, assessment, really loved it. So the link is in the show notes. Do access it, and it's a 5-minute assessment, and I'm going to walk you through it once you take the quiz, and let me help you get as much power from it as possible. So celebrating, here we are. So I want to talk about what happens into your mind when you start thinking about celebrating. So let's think about a goal that you have for yourself. Perhaps this year is your year to get healthy. This is a very common goal that people have for themselves, and understandably so, because if your health is not in order, your physical health, your mental health, your spiritual health, it will completely derail you from being able to do anything else in your life. You don't have the energy, you don't have the vitality. You're so distracted by your health and not feeling good, going to doctors, getting caught up in that whole cycle. You don't have any energy. You don't have any extra juice to put into other things, because all of your focus is going into just trying to figure out why you don't feel good. So wellness is truly baseline. Got to have that going on to have anything else happen for yourself. So let's just start there. Say wellness is your goal for this year, and your goal for January was to start eating healthier and start to move more, because there are two things you keep falling off on. So first off, you got to make sure that your goal is something that is doable, manageable, and sets you up for success. So say you've got that going for you, and you're starting to see a little bit of progress. It's not perfect, but a little bit of progress. First thing your mind is going to say, it's not perfect. You can't celebrate. You can't take any sense of a win from it because it's not perfect. It's not good enough. It should have been the goal that you set for yourself, because maybe you think to yourself, well, I didn't set that big of a goal. So wasn't that big of a goal, I should have been able to achieve it. So your mind starts immediately undermining any progress you have made. Sound familiar? So you can call it your ego, you can call it your judge, you can call it your inner critic, you can call it the voice of your mother, the voice of your father, voice of your school teacher, whoever it is. But that voice in your mind that tells you it's not good enough because it's not perfect. And because it's not perfect, because you didn't check off all the boxes, didn't go to the gym as much as you said you were going to, didn't eat the healthy meals you said you were going to, too many takeouts, too many drive-thrus, down the list, and that's all you can see is all the things that didn't go well. So you take no ownership or joy or celebration from the things that did go well. So there's your mind seeing critically how things are playing out for you. Sound familiar? So most of us have a very well-developed inner critic, judge, ego, like I said, call it whatever you will. Most of us have learned through our life to see what is wrong with us and to get really good at it and call ourselves out before we have anybody else do it. And that inner voice, that mean girl, she can be really loud and really offensive and abrasive. And she will undermine you at every turn. And she will stop you from celebrating. She will say, who do you think you are? She will say, it wasn't that great. It wasn't that big. It wasn't that much. You could have done better. You see how it goes. It's as they say, the beat goes on. So why is celebrating so important? Celebrating is so important. Think about it. When you're raising your children, if you constantly focus on how many times they fall down when they're learning to walk, how many times they get it wrong, how many times they completely miss the mark, all they do is inside feel like they're not good enough. They're never going to get it. You're emphasizing, you're reinforcing the negative. And when you reinforce the negative, what do you focus on? The negative. And what do we talk about here? That which you focus on grows. So I think I shared with you years ago, I took a writing course with Julia Cameron. Julia Cameron's an amazing artist, teacher. I was lucky enough, she was living in Chicago and she was teaching a course called The Vein of Gold. And it was a writing course teaching us to develop our voice for writing. And she would have us write these stories, various assignments that we had each week. And then what we would do in class is we would share what we had written with our classmates. And the classmates' assignment for each person's writing that they were reading was to write about what they liked about the story. Not to edit it, not to critique it, not to say what was wrong with it, but to say what it was that they liked. And why that is so important, you know, if you've tried anything, when you try to do new things, it's really hard. We're all programmed to do same old, same old. Change is hard for most people. And so in the beginning, getting going is the hardest part. This budding artist that we all were in the vein of gold, learning to be writers, we didn't need someone to critique our writing and tell us what was wrong with it. Inside, we already had that voice who was telling us, this piece of writing isn't very good and I probably shouldn't even go to class. I know my voice was that way and I know I wasn't alone. And the same thing happens for us as we are walking around in our life, doing our life, taking on these new goals. You've got this new wellness goal. And here you are. It's the, third week in January, and you may be very far from where you said you would be at this time. And so the voice inside your head is most likely not very kind to you. And if you focus on that, listen to that, give it the airtime, it will encourage you to give it up. Forget about it. You're not going to be able to do it. You haven't done it so far. Why even bother? Give it up. It's not worth it. That is the power of that voice, if you allow it to have that kind of power over you. And so what celebrating does, it is the antidote to that voice. And I'm going to tell you, that voice is not going to want you to celebrate. Again, it's going to keep reminding you you haven't done enough to celebrate. And what I know in coaching, in working with people to help them overcome their own challenges that have kept them stuck for sometimes decades, the more that they acknowledge the small wins, the more wins there are. And the more you focus on what hasn't gone well, how far away you are from where you want to go, the further you will stay from where you want to go. It's that simple. Celebrating is the key to your success. And it is the thing your mind will not want you to do. Like I said, you won't have checked off enough boxes, you won't have done enough things, it won't have gotten you the success you think you should have gotten. And that's the other thing, is that celebrating can feel like, oh, I should only celebrate if I've lost whatever it is, the number in your mind. Maybe you think you should have lost 5 pounds by now, or 10 pounds, or you should have seen some kind of results in your body from working out. And maybe you haven't seen those results. And so your mind says, what's there to celebrate? I don't see any results. See what I mean? I mean, that's how tricky the mind is. And because you've been listening to it for so long, you start to think that logic makes sense. But it doesn't. It doesn't work for you. On one way of thinking, if you want to just focus on the negatives and not getting somewhere, keep going in that direction. But if you really want to see results in your life, it's time to start focusing on small wins and give it all the juice you can. Really play it up and celebrate it. Because the more, we as humans are so kind and encouraging to little ones, whether it's puppies, whether it's babies. They take a step and I've seen it. There's a crowd of people standing around going, woohoo! But when it's us, human, adult, the expectations are so much higher and the mind is so much more critical. So it's time to start using that same I voice that you would use as if you were a small child. Get very excited about every small win. If you haven't been making yourself breakfast and now you are, celebrate it. If you normally go to a drive-thru and you passed up the drive-thru and went home, celebrate it. Every little celebration within you encourages you to keep going even more. And that's what you want to do here, is fuel the flame of your success. It's like, and it really is like a flame. Sometimes when you're trying to get a fire going and it's like little embers and you're like, come on, like, yeah, like you want to keep fanning it so the fire grows. And it's the same thing within you. You start to see a little ember, allow it to take off. Because you don't know what dampening it out and putting the negative on it is going to do in the long run to you. And I know when you focus on every small win, whatever it is, a day you got up, and you ate breakfast, a day you decided to take a walk, a day you decided to say no to somebody's suggestion of something you needed to do when you didn't want to do it. Every time you celebrate that, you show yourself that you can do this, because it is the small wins that get you to the big wins. And again, that inner voice is so goal-oriented. And so if you haven't hit the goal yet, haven't had the weight loss, haven't had the change in your relationship, haven't had the change in your finances, whatever your goal is, that voice in your head will say it's not worth celebrating because you haven't arrived yet. But this is the power of celebrating. As you celebrate along the way, you will build up your strength and you will be that much more closer to your desire, and you will not be pushing against resistance. The resistance is because you tell yourself it's not good enough, it's not far enough, it's not going to be good enough, people aren't going to like it, people won't like you, you don't look good enough, you haven't lost enough weight, whatever it is. You need to really give yourself permission to be excited about the small wins. And the small wins take you to big wins. Always my belief is small incremental changes will create a lifetime of change. And the more you celebrate these small incremental changes that you are making, and it doesn't matter. Sometimes I see my clients wanting to compare themselves to friends of theirs who maybe are good at this. They're very good at health and wellness. They're very disciplined. They're very focused. They've been doing this for a long time. And they'll say, why can't I be like them? And it's kind of like, because you're not them. And there are areas of your life that you find easy and excel at that they don't. So when you're comparing a struggle of yours to somebody in your life who doesn't have that struggle, you're always going to feel not as good as, bottom of the heap. And God knows I know that story well, because it's so easy to play that game, and it's so easy to compare ourselves. It never gets us to where we want to go. So stay the course. Trust in your own small wins and honor those wins, because you're doing them. Every time you show up for you, that's a win for you. Every time you say no to that voice in your mind that says, it's not worth it, you're not making that much progress, you're not really getting anywhere, what's the point? And you do it anyway, that's a win, right? It takes time and practice to move beyond that voice in your mind that always wants to trip you up and keep you exactly where you are, stuck. That voice does not want you to make progress, because that voice is uncomfortable with change. It thrives on you staying exactly the way you are. And if there are areas in your life which you want different, listening to that voice will only undermine your success and make it that much harder for you to get there. So, my friend, I hope that you start thinking about all the things in your mind that you can celebrate today, because I know there are things that you have done or will do today that deserve your celebration. And I know that in working with clients, there's a continuum for people celebrating. Sometimes it's a little bit of, okay, I did it. And that's good enough, right? You start there. And then sometimes you're jumping around doing a happy dance. So give yourself permission to be at whatever spectrum of the celebrating you're at. Any celebration, any acknowledgement that it is a win and you take it as a win allows you to keep moving in that forward direction that you want. So I'd love to hear your takeaway from today. Tell me what you're going to celebrate. Tell me what you did celebrate as a result of listening today. And do take the 5-minute quiz assessment and discover, what is it that keeps stopping you? What's that voice in your mind? So that you can start to really embrace a new way that can work more powerfully for you. Thank you for being here with me on my 52nd episode. Yippee to all of us for being here for a year. I celebrate you. I celebrate me. I celebrate this vision that I have followed through on for the last 52 weeks. And I am beyond grateful to be here with all of you. And I will be here with you next week as we move into season 2 of Say Yes to You and find all different kinds of ways to celebrate and move forward as we embrace this new way of being. Thank you for being here with me. I am Claudia Braun, mindset lifestyle coach for women who are ready to start saying yes to themselves. Thank you for being with me on this podcast, Say Yes to You, and why you don't. I will look forward to being with you next week. Bye for now.